On a beautiful Friday afternoon in May, I went to see the annual student exhibition at my beloved alma mater, the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts in Philadelphia. As always, there was an abundance of exciting work, with graduating students filling the Hamilton building with paintings, sculptures, and installations. I mostly just looked, but through the raucous crowd noise, I tried occasionally to record some of these young artists talking about their work. What are these about?
Clothing and character design and animal design and putting them into environments and spaces. I wanted to create a mock game, like designs for a mock game.
So are you in the animation department?
No, I'm in the drawing department here at PAFA, but I'm interested in doing video game concept arts.
All right. Done by hand or computer?
These are all done in Photoshop, freehand painted.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Photoshop? Back in 1980, a classmate of mine hung a wall of photographs, and that was considered almost unimaginable. But technology has definitely come to PAFA, and that's A-OK with me.
These are video collage with projection mapping, and the paintings are generated from the videos that you see. So these paintings and the paintings on the outside wall come from the story here. It's a myth based on a foot, and this side is the story where the character falls and hurts the foot, and on the right side is a more abstract version of it.
Have you broken a foot?
I have this foot right here. It's broken. And I still need to get it fixed. But I made lemonade out of lemons.
My work's all about reconnecting Philadelphia residents to the Philadelphia waterscape and the landscape that we all live in. So it's all about connecting through the landscape that once was, through sculpting the streams that used to be here in Philadelphia, looking at the landscape as it is today, and envisioning the landscape that it will become.
I have to say that when I came to PAFA, I wanted to get my money's worth, which meant learning how to do something that I didn't have a clue about. Though I was interested in abstraction, I dedicated myself to learning how to draw and paint representationally. It was incredibly hard, but I learned how to do it. So I am very glad to see that quite a few PAFA students still engage in that pursuit.
Most of it is of my family and friends, so I work from life and from invention as well, and just try to tell different stories about people. I'm a third-year certificate, so I have one more year, and I was fortunate enough to win a travel scholarship. So,
Which one did you get?
the women's board one, so yeah.
Did you have any particular teachers that you thought were helpful?
My favorite teacher of all time is Carolyn Pyfrom. Her work is just so poetic and beautiful, and then Scott Noel and Peter Van Dyke every teacher, like Tony Rosati, everybody's great. But as a painter, those three teachers have been my main source of inspiration and taught me most.
Oh, it looks like a self-portrait.
A fair amount of them are. A lot of them I feel like I'm more of like an actor taking on a role rather than it being a self-portrait where I like show something about myself. So most of them I'm acting as my own model.
So I see Narcissus up there.
Yeah.
Are you vain?
Well, actually, it's surprising because that's the one that I'm not the model for. The idea is that when I'm like talking to someone online or trying to connect over the internet, I create a persona that's not actually them, it's more of me. So it's almost like I'm falling in love with myself rather than who they are as a person.
What's the burning house about?
I paint for my subconscious and my dreams because I believe it's like chasing ephemeral metaphysical experiences. And this is a nightmare I had. It's called cul-de-sac because there was a cul-de-sac in the dream, but there's none pictured, so.
So what's next?
I'm pursuing art history for grad school. I'm looking at scholarships to pursue it. I'd like to be a scholar in the future. My time at Penn has really informed my art historical background, so.
The Academy has recently brought back a field of study that it hasn't taught in many decades. Are you in the illustration department?
Yes, sir.
All right, so who's Tiny?
Well, he's just an average Joe, just like you and me, except for what would happen if he got put into a dangerous situation? How would he get himself out of it, and how could he be a hero at the end?
Is Tiny going to be an animation or a comic book? Or
For right now, as we speak, he's just a comic. He's going to be a 3-issue comic. 3-issue mini comic, or some might say tiny comic.
So hi, I'm Mirandali. So this piece, I listened to one Indian instrumental song by Jagdeep Singh, and it really inspired me to make a piece that visualizes that song in an abstract way. So then you can see near the end of the song the beats of the drum, of the tabla, and then the orange and the green is just representation of the background music and the other instruments that are there in the song. And then the two pieces above it, they're just photographed using different lighting from the same little sculpture. So I wanted to see how I could manipulate lighting to make a completely different environment. The second piece, it's about my identity. My nationality is Indian, but I grew up in Dubai, so there's always that question to me where I call home. So this piece is representation of how those two cultures of mine come together to create who I am today. The third piece is called Nature's Womb. I was really interested by the idea that how nature is at the heart of everything, regardless of how geometric or very stiff the structures look like. For example, like the cube in itself is like a very encompassing structure and you feel restricted by it. But the funny thing is that all these things that look so geometrical, you find them in nature. It comes from nature because every single flower that you see has the same number of petals and it has the same number, each leaf has the same number of lines on it. So there's like a very mathematical aspect that comes from something that looks so organic and beautiful.
what draws you to bugs?
Well, I work at the Academy of Natural Sciences with the entomologists there, so I do some of their research illustrations. And I'm really interested in the little things because I feel like they get overlooked very easily, and it's very important to me that every aspect of nature is represented because humans are a force of nature together, but separately we're not very powerful, and it's the same for insects and all sorts of different things.
Although we are driving 1 million species into extinction.
That's what they say.
Yep.
Well, that makes this kind of work even more important.
Are you the artist?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay your model a lot to sit in a chair?
No, he pays me for the rest.
There is also a wide range of excellent, non-objective, and abstracted work to be seen in this year's show. Are you the artist?
Yes.
So you mix and match?
Yeah, all of the panels can be rotated or rearranged. So there are literally countless ways for the piece to be displayed. So wherever I install it, whether it's in this space or whether it's in a different space, it's a new painting.
And you often reinstall during the show?
Yeah, tonight I've rotated all the original panels and I'm replacing 6 of the panels with 6 new panels.
It's really cool. I liked them before I knew they could be.
Well, that's why I created the blocks as well. They're a tangible relationship in the same way that these are a relationship between me and a curator. So I would potentially give the entire piece to the curator and not tell them how to install it, but be in a state of surprise to see what they do with it.
Are these your paintings?
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. You're getting your master's degree?
Yes, I'm graduating.
Congratulations, very beautiful.
I'm a sculpture major. The sculpture is made of reed and wood. I discovered reed through another artist who was my friend, and I also learned about Martin Fourier. He also used reed, and I wanted to see what I could do with the material.
You're incredibly beautiful.
Thank you. These are oil, graphite and oil on canvas.
Personally, I am a sucker for art that riffs off of reality in an abstract manner. And there's a ton of great examples in this year's show.
Well, I love the ocean more than anything. My work is meant to comfort, and so they're really meant to be held and cherished as therapy objects. And I'm really inspired by animals and the poetry of bones and the whole notion of the body as a home and animals that create their own home. So the fascination with shells is definitely from that feeling of belonging, creation within yourself. And
They're really, really beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As I continued my perambulations, I found one artist named Kemi, who worked in a vast array of styles, from painting to designing t-shirts. He said that his earlier paintings were from direct observation, but eventually he started working more from his imagination. In terms of the shirts, he had made an early one called Kemi Does PAFA. But now that he is graduating, he's made a sequel, PAFA Does Chemi.
The Chemi Does PAFA shirt was me with a stretcher bar, and it was just meant to be light and fun. This one's PAFA Does Chemi, so it's a little sharper. You know, I'm on my way out, so I can kind of make a critique of the institution, just to play fun. Of course, art school is very expensive, and so I've got kind of like a stick and carrot kind of motif. The carrot that I'm chasing says a promising career in the fine arts. I'm about to walk off a cliff because I'm chasing that goal. Meanwhile, faculty are reaching in my backpack and getting the last dollar that I have. It's a little bit dramatic, but again, I'm trying to have good fun.
It's a little bit realistic too.
Yeah, it's a little realistic. $10. I'm kind of like marketing oriented right now. Yeah, I've got promotional pencils. It says my name. It says "Don't forget me."
Right before I began working on this movie, I read a highly dispiriting article at Vox.com about the state of the art world. It's entitled, "Why is Art So Expensive?" And it points out that while most art isn't, the sculptures and paintings at the top of the heap are very, very expensive. It's increasingly becoming a winner-take-all situation, where a very few mega-rich collectors patronize a very few uber-trendy galleries who represent the very few superstar artists whose work is in high demand. My twin brother once pointed out that at this level, art is no longer art. It's a form of money, traded by the rich. That wouldn't be so problematic, except for two other disturbing trends. Here's the first. Art school is getting very pricey. 5 years ago, the average cost at an influential MFA school was $38,000 a year. That's a lot of potential debt if you aren't getting helped out. So I guess you better start selling your work as soon as possible. But that may be hard because unfortunately, you'll run up against a second problem. The lower tier galleries, those that are not representing the superstars, are being pressured relentlessly, and many of them are going out of business. These are the galleries that might possibly represent graduating art students. Sorry to be such a killjoy, and I admit it. I am old and remember fondly the good old days when I graduated from PAFA in 1980. I won't even tell you how cheap it was then because I don't want to be cruel to the new grads. In those days, getting a gallery was a lot easier, as was selling work. I have many classmates who, while not rich, have managed to make a significant side income through their art. I can only think of one or two who have been able to live off sales exclusively. If I were to give one piece of advice to graduating art students, it's this. Do not identify your success with this superstar model of the art world. You are much more likely to win one of those mega million lotteries than become the next Damien Hirst. Instead of hoping for the impossible, enjoy the creative life that you have embarked upon, regardless of any worldly financial success that may, but probably won't, come your way. This creative life has been essential to my own happiness. For years I was a painter, and now I make videos. Regardless of my medium, working on paintings or movies has given my life a sense of deep purpose and meaning. Don't be afraid to change, pursue joy, and keep seeking to improve your craftsmanship and love for your materials. Because with art that is lovingly crafted, that love is transmitted to the viewer. And now, the happy ending.
I just graduated with my Master of Fine Arts in Studio Art from the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Are you in debt?
I'm not in debt. I was able to get a scholarship to come to the program.
Excellent.
For most of it, so yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Oh, these are great. What's your name?
Thank you. My name is Beth Ann Parker.
And tell me about these. What are you doing? They're just so creative.
Yeah, so they're a pull actually from a lot of visual memories of my own. I live in the Poconos, so I'm bringing in a lot of family narratives, domestic narratives, as well as historical and my own personal memory and experiences into them.
I have to say, they look not only beautifully done, but they look like they were fun to paint.
Very fun, and completely a submission to my own instincts, which is really a joy to do. So absolutely freeing in nature.
I love these. Okay.
So, it was so nice to meet you.
You'll